We're going to start having a few viewers on here, so let us begin by sharing the stream. Let's get this stream going tonight. Ahmed, if you can, please share the stream. Any viewers currently on, please share the stream.
Of course, of course. We always sharing this stream every day, every Wednesday
Love the
night.
stream.
Every Wednesday night, we want our viewers. We love our viewers, and we appreciate the love they show and the questions they ask and the time that they commit to watching us. So, we always want to share our stream with them and everybody in the world to watch us and to talk about our issues like we always do. So
everyone, let's see what we got for today. Wait until we get a couple viewers on, and then we're going to go ahead and start talking about our topic of the day. First, Ahmed, are we going to go with your topic, or are we going to go with my topic of religious freedom?
Whatever you want. I mean, it depends. If you want me to start with your topic, if you'd like, or let's go with yours. Since I just freshly got out of exams this week, so
okay.
I've been having a hectic week, but I think I'm free now. But let's go with yours first, and then we'll dive into my topic about pretty much it's about women's health. We're going to be talking about pretty much in general about women's health, pregnancy, birth control, safe sex, STDs, help spread awareness and help those couples who are thinking about using birth control, to help those couples who are not practicing safe sex, and just to spread different knowledge about different things about women's health. And I think it'll be a really good topic to talk about with our current topic of how we did talk about last week when we discussed about the government trying to control women's health. So I thought it'd be nice. So we'll piggyback off that after you're done with it.
Since you're a medical student, this is a great topic to hear from on your side of the end, because you are going into the field and you are concerned about this insurance that's given to these individuals and how they can afford it. I mean, I don't know. Do you think a lot of doctors are against these insurance plans?
What was the question? Are they against it?
Are they against these new insurance plans that the government trying to subsidize?
It depends on every doctor, but it depends on the program and what the insurance is for. Because sometimes insurance companies come in and doctors are not able to make the money that they earn, so it kind of cuts through that, and it kind of sucks for doctors. But again, the health insurance helps those people who can't afford medication, procedures, stuff like that. And as myself, being a young male, using the health insurance that I pay monthly for, it's helped me a lot. Some of our friends that you and I both know, I won't mention their names, but they don't have health insurance, and with a minor, let's say, strep throat or minor fractures or different procedures that they may happen spontaneously out of the blue, they can't afford it because it costs hundreds of dollars. But if they do get health insurance, it will cost significantly less. But the thing is, people don't want to pay or can't afford. That's the main issue. A lot of our friends and mine, your friends, they can't afford $100, $200 a month on health insurance, which kills them.
Of course, which is really hard. I mean, there's an issue out there. We're living in a society right now that doesn't even have, individuals that can't even go to the hospital and get treated because they don't have insurance. It's a very difficult game out there with people trying to be able to live. I mean, right? Do you think it's a right that people have to have insurance in this modern day era? Do you think it's their right? Do you think that if there's the availability of health and science out there, do you think that it should be available to everybody? Is my question.
Amen. Yes, sir. I think, like I said, we talked about before, it should be a right for everybody. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. No, everybody should have health care provided for them free of cost. That's what I believe. I think it's a right. If someone's sick, okay, you go in, you get treated. I think I was reading back in the old days, if I'm not mistaken, in Asia, I believe in China, when the parts of the continent over there, that doctors used to get paid, right, when the patient wasn't ill. Check this out. So when a patient's, like, let's say you and myself, we're healthy people, doctors were paid every day while they're healthy. But when they got sick, the doctors weren't paid.
Yeah, I see.
It was a fascinating concept, because the doctor, he's supposed to be a healer. He's supposed to take care of you. It's not supposed to be like a financial issue. But it was just, the concept of it was amazing. But like I said, yeah, health insurance should be for everybody.
All right, so
health care, excuse me.
So I guess we're gonna move into this topic first, I guess, for today. Guys, if you're tuning in for the first time for tonight, we are talking about the issue that if health insurance is a big topic for us. I mean, with the recent Obamacare, It's a big issue back in the like few years ago. Obamacare was passed by the Congress when it was a Democratic controlled Congress, and it was able to go through both houses. But now the Republicans, now which control almost about both houses, can't seem to agree with Obama, and they want to repeal it. And going on with this, the repealing process, it takes about 2/3 to repeal the process of the bill, the Healthcare Act, Affordable Healthcare Act, or have a presidential veto or a presidential signature to repeal it. If Obama's not going to repeal his own law. So a lot of people are thinking this upcoming presidential election, should it be about repealing Obama's Affordable Health Care Act bill, or should we keep in another Democratic president to keep it within our system? I mean, I don't know who's paid taxes lately, but has anybody ever paid taxes yet on healthcare? I know that recently some people who didn't have healthcare had to pay an extra tax. It's a penalty. It's a very difficult issue going on this.
I mean, I'm happy that what President Obama has done is provide like this whole field of health insurance for those who weren't eligible in the past. I think it's a great thing. I think it was a great step forward, and I think he's doing the right thing. People, of course, complain or may disagree with it, and that's very respectful. And I understand that. But I think overall it's a good step forward to providing those who are poor socioeconomically, middle class, and high class the same health insurance or a variety of health insurance plans where people could choose and pick that benefits them and their status.
Okay.
At least everybody could be covered, and going from the usual lower 20s to 26, and then now pre-existing conditions are covered. So a lot of things that people look back in the past weren't covered are covered now. And it's a good step forward. It's a positive step forward for our economy and our population and our health overall. And I do hope that this Obamacare program that was set in place by President Obama and the Congress continues forward. And I hope it's not repelled, or I hope that it's tweaked to be more
I think they need to
approachable to the population.
I think they need to keep the fact that pre-existing conditions should not be a factor in when you're getting health insurance.
Of course, that's ridiculous.
I don't think it's called health insurance like anymore. I think it's called health coverage.
But check it out. They didn't want pre-existing conditions because, let's say, God forbid, you have HIV or you have cancer or you have...
It's going to cost a lot.
So they know, like, they're thinking of a financial aspect of you.
Of course.
This person's already ill. There's no need to cover him because he's going to die eventually.
Of course.
What's the point? So now since they're covered, at least now care and treatment can be provided to these people and help them live a little bit longer or provide that sense of comfort before passing away or before the disease or illness overcomes them.
Right now, I'm trying to get as many people as we can on the stream. Guys, if you're watching the stream, this is a very important topic.
But let's start with your topic first before we get into the women's health.
Before we get into the topic, though, I want to get more people watching the stream. If there's any questions before we start our topic, anybody watching the stream, just let us know. This is a very important issue. We want to be able to grasp the whole issue at hand tonight instead of just going to just vague parts or broad parts of the whole thing. We want to, tonight we're going to talk about Planned Parenthood, which is a big issue because a lot of states have defunded Planned Parenthood, and Congress, the Republican Congress, is also trying to defund Planned Parenthood. In the state of Florida, Planned Parenthood was actually defunded. Abortion clinics, there's some bills now that they have to I don't know if this have to do with insurance, but abortion clinics in Florida now have to have doctors which have to have privileges in hospitals in order to be able to be an active abortion clinic.
I was kind of like,
what's the word you're looking for?
I would just say, like, not hurt, but distraught that Governor Rick Scott would pass, or he doesn't say he makes the law. He said he just, he puts it in order, but, pass this bill to limit women's rights to health care. It's like we talked about before, man. If a woman has a child, right, and she's conceiving a child, if she wants to conceive a child, she wants the pregnancy, okay, that's her choice. Now, if she wants to abort it due to financial issues or responsibility issues or issues that may overcome her that she's not able to support this child, or let's say from rape, or let's say from a one night stand, or whatever may be issue may be, that she doesn't want to have the child, it's her choice, then she could go to the abortion. She should feel safe and feel that she has the right to go to the abortion clinic to abort the baby if she does not want the child. Okay, that's a woman's right. That's her body. That's the baby in her body. She could do what she wants with her body. I just can't understand why people. I mean, the thing is, they use religion. This is where religion comes in. They base it on religion.
It's not religion. It's religion. They go to religion because they know how conservative America is on freedom of religion.
And that's what I'm saying, because they base it on that, and I think it's ridiculous to base on that. I think you should have a right for your body, whatever you want to do with your body. The woman should have the right for her body. If she wants to use birth control, let her use birth control. Who am I? Who are you? Who is the whole world? Tell that woman that she's not allowed to do that. If she wants to use birth control, if she wants to use devices to prevent birth, if she wants to use abortion pills or go to abortion clinic, if she wants to have the baby and she wants to have the baby, whatever she wants, okay, that's her right. End of story. That's my opinion, but I just logically think about it. I just can't understand why people have to control others and make them do things that they don't want to.
This is what this country was founded on, democracy, which was not the king controlling all his subjects. This was people making their own decisions based on what was better for them. This is what democracy is. People don't understand that. And it goes back to even, the idea of enlightenment. How are we going to, if you keep using religion as a basis of what this country has to go for, I thought there was always a separation of church versus state, right? There has to, the state government has to have a separation between the church, which is, we don't put religious politics in democracy here, but what I'm saying is you have to set aside religion, and you have to set aside freedom of religion, which is two different things, and people are using that to their advantage to make up assumptions that this is illegal.
But the thing is, if we look at the other side of the coin, and you bring up a good point, that the people on the other side are saying, oh no, if you abort it, that means you're killing an innocent child.
The child wasn't even, how do you know what child it was?
And the thing is, if you look at the science aspect, as soon as, the whole process of sex and to conceive, have birth, it's about like a 35% chance of occurring. So the percent of a male and a female trying to have a baby is a very low percentage. You have to be at the right time during the woman's ovulation period, And this goes back all to the basic science and how it works,
Future doctor right here.
Amen. Doctor. But let's say she's ovulating in that period window. Let's say day 12 to day 17, day 20, that whole period where she's fertile and ovulated and stuff like that. You're gonna have a hormone called progesterone, right, which keeps the endometrial layer, which is the layer inside the vagina, vascularized with blood supply enriched for the egg to attach to it in the uterus, right? So the thing is,
this is med school 101 biology right here.
My point of trying to say that they say they kill a child. They say, okay, so the sperm pretty much enters the egg or causes fertilization in the ampulla region, which is like the fallopian tube, as we say, the ampulla part of it. So from there to implantation is about, let's say, from day 1 to 7, so about 7 days until implants. So, and then the cells are growing, whatnot. So everything that happens is by a certain amount of days, So these cells are still growing, still multiplying, stuff like that. So some people say, hey, you know what? Those cells are growing, the mixing of the male and the female nuclei and stuff like that. Oh, it's a baby. You can't kill it. Then you have others say, oh no.
All over our body, right? It's just that one cell is different from.
Well, yeah, I guess they say the DNA are mixing, intermingling, and stuff like that. All this different stuff. And the thing is, you have those people who say in the early stage, oh, it's a baby. Then you have people saying, oh, 40 days from there, as the fetus is growing inside the womb of the mother.
What are you
everybody's perspective is different.
Are you against it or are you for it?
Against what?
Abortion.
No, I think it's a woman's right. If she wants to abort the child, she could abort the child. If she does not want to abort the child, then she doesn't have to abort the child. That's my opinion. Because I think the woman should have the right to do what she fits. Now, when I say this,
have the right to do whatever we want, right?
Let me say this with a grain of salt, though. The woman has to be sane. Has to have a logical reason.
Well, yeah, she's gonna have to go through a medical evaluation.
She has to
evaluation.
She'll have to be fit to make that decision. Not just randomly. But well, of course, what I would do is I'll meet with the woman, the patient. I'll talk to her, explain to her the outcomes and stuff like that. Make
Hmm.
sure we do a physical, all check her blood work, herself, mental, everything, and then we'll let her know the outcome. Saying, if you abort the baby, this is what happen. If you don't abort the baby, this is what happens. So I'll give her
So like
both
an abortion
options.
specialist.
Yeah, you give them both pictures, right? So that
Yeah.
she knows that she can make her own decision, rightful decision to choose. Should I go with the abortion or should I not? You know, and that's
Let
where
me
it comes to
stop you for a
ethics
second,
and stuff like
guys. If
that.
you have
All
any
stuff.
questions, please ask us on the stream. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. You have to be logged on to YouTube. If you see the YouTube screen, there's probably a chat window right next to it. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ask away. We will be answering these questions live on air. Um,
But
Anything
it
else you
goes
got to
back.
say? Okay,
It
go
goes
ahead.
back to, and everybody talks about ethics, and ethics is a big key in
Oh
medicine.
yeah.
And and people are sometimes uncomfortable to talk about these things because they don't want to say, "Oh, I don't want to be in the wrong side of things," or "I don't want people to dislike me." But you gotta look at both pictures, both views. Why people are for abortion, why people are against abortion. And you just come down to a middle pathway, and you just try to make a logical decision, a
I
reasonable
think I think
decision,
it's because I
and
think we're not understanding this. Is because we live in a society, or you're from Miami, I'm from Miami, and we live in a city where it's not very. I guess it's very democratic,
secular. It's very secular.
secular. There you go. And we're not in a very rural area or I mean, the most we've been out is probably the suburbs.
Hmm.
And when you go closer to the rural areas out here in Florida or anywhere else in the United States, you get that
Conservative mindset.
you get the conservative mindset that it's very close to the religious needs. These
Yeah.
people who live in the rural areas of the United States, they go to church once a week, maybe twice,
Hmm.
and they have a lot of faith. Now, these people, mind you, do you think there's more of these people? Do you think there's more citizens that live in the United States than there are democratic people living within the cities?
Well, it's a mixture. It's like I said, every city like New York, Miami, California, it's all melting pots. So diverse of different
Yeah,
ideologies, different views.
of
But
course.
like what you did is correct. The more you go up north, the more in the middle, the more Midwest, stuff like that. You have more of a conservative mindset. Not everybody is, but majority you say they're very family oriented, religious aspect and stuff like that, and like how you described.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like us coming from Miami, we're it's such a secular area and just so diverse, and everybody's just so open and liberal and laid back. Sometimes these things don't really concern us, but if you look in the overall U.S. and stuff like that, a lot of people take this into account, and I think it's a serious issue, and I think to truly understand it is to truly talk to a woman who's been in those shoes. Like, think about it. Let's put ourselves in the
Okay,
shoes for
I'm, I'm,
example.
I'm thinking about it in my shoes.
All
Let me
right.
go
So
get
let's
some
say
heels. Hold up.
so let's say you and I were both a female,
Okay,
right?
you're right. You're
And
thinking
so
in this
we have
situation.
a couple. We have a boyfriend, whatever, and we're together for like, let's say a few months, no, let's say 2 or 3 months. We have sex, whatever. Boom, I get knocked up, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't planned or anything, and mind you, and this happened to a lot of people. Like, let's say we're in a college, beginning of college, or end of high school, whatever it may be. Like, how are we supposed to support a baby at this time of our lives?
Exactly.
So all this stuff, the emotion aspect, the future aspect, the schooling, the job, all this stuff comes into play. And
And you know
depending
what I
on
think
what
it
your
is, Ahmed?
socioeconomical class
and
is,
and and those people are for abortion, because the thing is, they're right. They can't afford to have a baby at
Mhm.
their age, or their stage of life. We have people having kids when they're still in high school.
Yeah. And
And
I think that's a problem, and that's why I think safe sex practice or teaching of
yeah,
sex
I mean, I read
comes
something
into
on the
play.
internet the other day. Europeans teach safe sex
Yeah,
as a mandatory course in high school.
I posted that actually. It's
Yeah,
funny, brother.
I think, yeah, that's what I read it from. It
Yeah,
just doesn't make any sense how we don't do it.
I
And
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
but like, it just amazes me how, we have kids. I mean, do you think Europeans have the same problem with kids over the age, or
I
under
don't
the
think
age,
so.
having
There's
teen pregnancy?
so for the viewers, I posted a video of what Alec was talking about,
Yeah.
how sex education is different. And back to your question, I don't think so. I think I'm really for pro sex education at the younger age. I don't think it's a taboo. I think people should know. Say, hey, you know what? Let's say when you get to like middle school or a little bit, early, like late elementary, middle school, say, hey, this is what sex is. It's not a bad thing. It's just this is part of life. It's not taboo. A male with a female procreate to have a child. Okay, you have that aspect. Then you have pornography. You have this, so that you expose these people to what's really out there in the world, but not in a negative way. So by exposing them and telling them about this, they won't see it as something bad, and then they won't be tempted to do all these bad things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing to teach children about sex, and the most important thing is about safe sex and STD and HIV prevention. I think it's very important because if you look statistically, a lot of people don't wear condoms or female condoms or protection in any aspect. They just have sex unprotectedly, and they don't realize what the risk to acquire an STD or HIV is. It's very high.
Living in a city in Miami.
Yes, sir, and it's very high, and that's what you gotta watch out for. But people just don't really take too much concern until it hits them, and once it hits them, then they regret the decision.
Guys, it's 10 on the hour. If you're watching the stream, we ask that if you guys can please share the stream. We would love to have interesting questions tonight from our viewers. All you guys, thank you for watching, and keep watching us and give us some questions. So, according to these laws, the religious freedom laws, you want to go into that topic now, or you want to keep talking about?
I just want to mention one thing about what we were talking about, the days and stuff like that. Okay. Just so people have an understanding. So pretty much what I was referring to. Remember, we were talking about the other side of the coin. We were saying, oh no, once the sperm and egg match up, then the cells grow and divide, and it's a human cell. So right here, let me say, so on day 0, right, fertilization occurs at the ampulla, where we're talking about the fallopian tube, right? That's where the sperm meets the egg, right? Like we were talking about day 0.
Yeah.
Then day 1, the zygote, which we call like the first cell, occurs through cleavage or breaking of cells. By day 2, then blastomeres. Then day 3, then a morula is called. Then day 4 is pretty much, check it out, on day 4. So this is the 4th day after the sperm has entered the egg. The embryo enters the uterine cavity, which is the uterus of the female, and the zygote now divided into 2 parts: a single outer layer, flattened cells, where it gives rise to placenta. I'm just condensing this for the viewers, and a small cluster of round cells called the inner mass, which gives rise to the embryo.
This is straight medical school teaching coming from the future Dr. Al-Nahas right over here.
So the zygote at this stage is called blastocyst. So the blastocyst.
I hope you're all paying attention.
Goes to endometrial layer, which is the inner layer, on 3rd day. So pretty much it takes about 4 to 5 days, right, of this occurring.
So let's speak English to them. Speak English.
Yeah. So like I was saying, so people were saying, oh, as soon as that occurs, then it's a fetus. Everybody's view is different of when is a fetus. Some say, oh, it takes like the first 7 days. Some takes the first 40 days, the first trimester, this and this. So again, it goes back to your personal judgment. What I think is a person's own belief. Like we go back to religion, or a person's own view of when they think it's a human cell, So, like I said, I think that people should differentiate religion from their own personal life.
Correct.
Like we talked about, the separation of church and state, and pretty much let an individual conduct their own choices, because that's what our society dictates, So, like I said, pregnancy takes about 36 weeks, right? It's 3 trimesters, right? Obviously, if you do abortion, it will be ideally before the 3rd trimester, ideally before the 2nd trimester as well. Now, the 1st trimester, you would want to do it as early as possible, Let's say,
all right, let's. I think we're talking about how to do an abortion. We should talk about if abortions are logically, are they correct? Or are they not? Are they correct? Well, should women be able to decide their own life? That's what we're talking about.
If you let me finish my point, where I'm getting to, I appreciate it.
I'm just trying to. I'm not in medical school. I'm not trying to learn this stuff. I know the viewers are not trying to learn this stuff either.
No, what I'm trying to say is that from a medical perspective, if from the other side of the view, how they see abortion is wrong. for not to be considered a human fetus,
Okay.
you would have to do it as soon as possible so that won't occur. So I'm saying
So you
before the
need
first,
to be able. Okay, what? I know you was reading this. I wasn't pretty much paying attention, but if you could please tell me, what do you think, in your opinion,
uh-huh.
is the safest time to have an abortion without having a considerable fetus in your body as a woman?
Well, as soon as the safest time is before, like, I'll say the first week or first 2 weeks of any
Okay,
of
when
pregnancy.
does the what is it called? When
The what one?
before the fetus, what is it called?
The zygote.
Yeah, when does the zygote turn into the fetus? That's what we need to know.
Well, it takes a couple weeks. So the first trimester,
How long is the first trimester?
well, if 3 trimesters are 36 weeks, then it's 12, 24, 36. So the first trimester is 12 weeks.
Okay, so we should, all women should have an abortion within 12 weeks.
No, before that.
So what day?
Like, okay, let me make it simple. Okay, so it'll be like at week 1 or 2, 3
Okay,
max.
so week 1 or 2 is when they should have it.
Yeah, like
But
as
how
soon
do
as
they know
possible.
if they're
The
pregnant
thing
or not?
Well, that's the thing. So they go to once they don't have, let's say they have, usually women have their period, right?
Okay, yes.
And their cycle is usually 28 days. So when a woman does not have her period anymore, that's kind of like a flag. There's other conditions as well which cause that, but let's say it's a flag.
All the
If you
women
have it on-
watching us, please bear with us. We are a bunch of men talking about how a woman's body works. So please, please bear with
So,
us. Go ahead,
okay,
Ahmed.
let me try to say it. Okay, so if a woman is having unprotected sex, right? There's no condom or anything protection like that, birth control at all, and she does not have her menstruation going on, right? Then that's kind of a sign that that she could be possibly pregnant because of other conditions that could cause that as well. So what she'll do is
Testing.
she'll take a pregnancy test, which measures human chorionic gonadotropin, which is called HCG
All
in
right,
the urine.
HCG, ladies and gentlemen. HCG is what tests for pregnancy.
So through urine
we're not-
tests.
This show is not about how to get abortion. This is just a show about what
Like, our
do we
viewers know
think
that, like-
about abortion. Is it a human right, or is it illegal in the sense of religious views?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you
So-
guys have any questions about anything about abortion, I would just say just talk to Ahmed. He is the master of health in this department on this show. Obviously, I am not, but that's what we have. Mr. Al Nahas. Mr. Al Nahas.
Appreciate it, thank you. No, but I appreciate it, thank you. But I was saying, like, so the HCG test is tested through urine, right? So a woman will urinate and test it on there. So
Is
it's
there other ways?
positive or
Is there
not.
other ways they can be that a pregnancy can be tested?
Well, that's like the most main ways through HCG because that hormone is
I
what's
think
released when
going
the
back
egg
to
passes
defunding
urine.
Planned Parenthood, I think that the government, what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to stop all these people from either taking having insurance pay for birth control or having pregnancy tests or giving out free condoms or all this stuff. They're trying to stop all that. The government wants, like, the Republican Congress wants to stop all that, and Florida is really trying to defund all Planned Parenthood.
No, yeah, and I agree. And I really do. I think birth control is amazing. I think that used correctly and responsibly, it's really helpful for couples. People who don't want to have a
Now,
child.
but let me ask you something. Do you think your money that you make should go to an individual who does not work to help pay for birth control?
Well, now we're talking about a different thing, but like,
Or not that, like.
look, my duty, like this is how I see it. My
We got
duty.
a question from Gio, the greatest one. What is the deal with Planned Parenthood? Okay, so for all you viewers watching that do not know what the hell Planned Parenthood is, Planned Parenthood is basically a section within, or it's a mixture of things that health insurance pays for. Planned Parenthood is paid by insurance through providing you with birth control, condoms, vasectomy. You know what Can you explain to me what a vasectomy is? I don't think most of your viewers know what that is.
Well, a vasectomy is when a doctor performs a procedure called a vasectomy, which is he cuts both the vas deferens tubules, which are connected. Pretty much, that's where the sperm goes up.
Basically,
so
you can't have
sperm,
any babies anymore.
So yeah,
That's
so
it.
pretty much is once you cut those tubes, then you go become infertile, which means
So
that no
yeah.
sperm will be released because the sperm does not go through tubes anymore because they're tied up or cut.
So your insurance would pay for that. Your insurance would pay for birth control. Your insurance would slowly pay for stuff to prevent you from having your own child. That's why it's called Planned Parenthood. You get to plan when you want to be a parent.
If you go on
By,
their they have a website.
yeah.
Just sorry to cut you off, Alex, but if you go to Google and you
This is for all
Google
our
Planned
viewers.
Parenthood,
Yeah.
it's for all American citizens.
Yeah.
They talk about the morning after pill. They talk about birth control. They talk
Exactly.
about abortion. They talk
And
about
the thing
STDs
is,
and
the
diaphragms.
government
Everything.
wants to stop that. This government wants you to
Ridiculous.
let you have your own child whenever it happens. Okay? They don't want you to be on birth control. They don't want you to have a vasectomy. They don't want you to have condom. They don't want you to have anything planned as a parent. Okay? And this is what this is my opinion. I don't think the government should step into my life and tell me how I do it. Or especially a woman. A woman has the right to decide what she wants to do.
Check this out.
Like a man has the right to decide what he wants to do with his life. I'm sure, women get to have divorces, decide if they want a divorce. Men get to decide if they want to have a divorce, Same, we all have the rights to do whatever we want. But why can't we have the right to pick when we want to have a baby?
Check this out. It says, so talking about abortion, there are two kinds of abortions in the U.S. So everybody knows. In clinic abortion and the abortion pill that they take. Abortions are very common. Check it out. In fact, 3 out of 10 women in the U.S. have an abortion by the time they are 45 years of age.
Wow.
So 30%, 3 out of 10.
Wow.
So if a woman is pregnant, she has options.
I think that number is very vague because I think there's a lot more women than that. Just because of the fact that the government doesn't want to.
This is a number. Well, this is a number from Planned Parenthood.
It could be okay. It could be a lot more though, because there are some states that
you never know.
they don't produce the statistics from Planned Parenthood because they don't want people to find this out and stuff like that. So they want to defund Planned Parenthood. So I'm pretty sure that there is the statistic is probably very low when it's reporting. There should be a larger amount of reporting going on with that. But Planned Parenthood, in my opinion, should not be defunded.
I agree with you. That's ridiculous to defund it. I think
away people's rights. You should have the option. If you're religious, you're going to be religious. You don't make people religious. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. If they want to go to church, they will on their own decide that they will not have an abortion. If they don't go to church, then don't decide for them and say you need to be religious and you need to be able to decide if you need to stop having that baby. You need to have that baby. You don't make someone religious because of your religious views. That's impeding their freedom. You don't do that. Yeah. And that's what the government needs to realize.
And these politicians, these guys who bring in these conservative mentalities, they really don't think about the bigger issue. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's a very, very important aspect for women. I think, hello, without Planned Parenthood, imagine us when we were in college, where we get the free, protection for sex, and where we get the free sex ed education, or all these different things. It's like Planned Parenthood helps supply people with knowledge, with information about birth control, STDs, all these different things that I think is very vital for society.
Guys, let me stop you for a second. Guys, if you're watching the stream and you have any questions, make sure you ask us on our little chat window on our live stream page. We're happy to answer your questions live. We get them right away. As you can see, some of our audience members have asked us some questions and we have answered them on the stream. So feel free to ask anything you want. We will answer them no matter what you ask. It could be something stupid, and it could be something hilarious.
Look, nothing's ever stupid. No question.
There's no stupid question. Just remember that. Not even if it's off topic, we will answer it. And if not, we will answer it next week in a very broader sense. If you have topics for us as well, just let us know. Back to Planned Parenthood. Oh, you're welcome, Gio. Thank you for your question, and I want to thank you for thinking.
Yeah, and let Gio know. Tell him if he ever has any questions or if he has a partner that God forbid that he. We know Gio, so I can say this, but God forbid he does get her pregnant or he catches something from a woman or something like that, or whatever, a spread of STD, he can have these people in contact besides his primary care physician or stuff like that. So let's say, HIV testing, all these STD testing, they have clinics out there where we can do it for
Yeah,
free,
of course.
for individuals. So
Now,
it's always a
guys,
good base to check up on things.
I think we're also going to talk about this topic next week as well. We're going to probably get a woman as a special guest to get her views on it as well, because we don't only want to be able to just get the men's side of the view. We know we have women also watching this stream, and we are grateful for that. Thank you, all you wonderful women and also men. Thank you, men, for watching our stream. So we have a question from our audience. This show sounds like the real, actual converse we have among friends, unlike the scripted stuff. Just saying. Also, you should get some green screen. Rock on. Political incorrectness hashtag. Thank you so much, Cadmere Stone, for asking the question, or
Thank you.
for saying that wasn't even a question, but thank you. We'll probably get a green screen going on. I mean, we need to find someone first, but as of right now, we're just talking. Like I said, this show was basically what we want to talk as average Americans about the average views on what we think are going on in politics and current events. I don't think there's a show out there. I think everyone just talks about what's on their mind. And, it's all based on the viewers they get. Even if we have 0 viewers today or we have 100 viewers tomorrow, we're always going to talk about what we think. We don't care about ads. There's never going to be an ad on this show because we're not going to make 0 money on this show. We just want to talk, and we want to tell you what we think as average Americans when the news comes out.
That's the thing, man, because I'm just so sick of tired of being so like, oh, you said this, you said that. No, we should be able to speak our minds, say how we feel, and talk about these issues, because these are what the real issues are. Like the gentleman or a person said that I made that quote right now is like, this is what we talk about between ourselves. Imagine everybody else who talks about these topics. But the thing is, people don't want to hear the truth or the reality or these real conversations that are deep. And these are the things that we need to have between each other. To share awareness, to spread knowledge and education, because knowledge is what gives you power. And you don't have no knowledge, you have no power whatsoever. And that's the truth right there.
Now, you guys, if you want to keep this going, we're gonna need all the help you can. And I love you all our viewers. Just help us by sharing the stream out there. Let everybody know what it's like to hear a real conversation on a web stream about how average Americans talk about politics and the news, because we need to let people know this is what we think, and this is how, when we think, things get done. We don't need no lobbyists, or we don't need no news channels that get paid for advertisements to tell us what's going on with the world or what we think in our opinion. We need to make our own opinions. This is our human right in nature. Back to Planned Parenthood.
So what do you think about these religious, I guess, since we were talking about, religion and stuff like that, and you were talking about your freedom of religion rights and stuff like that, what were you trying to bring about by bringing up that discussion?
Are you talking about the religious bills?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the knowledge of what's going on. Recently, a few states here in the United States have passed these religious freedom laws. Do you know what those religious freedom laws are?
Well, please explain to our viewers what they are.
So these states basically are saying that, like Florida recently, Rick Scott signed a bill saying that if you are a priest or a judge or anybody in public service and you have to marry a gay couple, it is your religious freedom to say no and not get sued. You have immunity.
Ridiculous.
You have immunity from the law to discriminate against those people.
Can you believe
That's
that?
what religious freedom is.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I said that they only do that stuff is because either they're being paid or some kind of lobbyist or some kind of pushback. It's ridiculous. How can you just not allow someone to get married, whatever their sex is? Okay, if you have a gay couple, if they want to get married, look, it has no effect on me. That's their decision. Okay, you might not agree with it, which I understand. Like, I might not agree with homosexuality, but I still respect those people and I respect what they had to do in life. If they want to get married, they want to date, they're normal people just like you and I. So I feel, in my opinion, that is a ridiculous law they put into play. I think that the LGBT community should have the right to marry, the right to date, and the right to express themselves and have their freedom and right to do so.
They pay taxes, right?
Yeah, they're just like you and me. They're regular people. The only thing is that they have a different sexual preference.
Look, I'm not gay.
Lesser than I am,
straight,
or better than I am.
But I think that if you love somebody and you pay taxes, let them be, okay?
Y-
As long as you're
you
not bothering me, that's all that matters. As long as you're not trying
yeah.
to touch my ass or whatever, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's your right. You pay taxes, you live here, you work.
That's
That's
what it
it.
is.
You know?
You know.
But if you're illegal and you're not paying taxes and you're not putting your fair share into this country, I think that no, you shouldn't get married. Not even if you're straight, you shouldn't get married here. You should go get married in your own country. You don't pay taxes
Well,
here.
that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. You know, because I think, well, if you look at their point of view, they want to get married here, so their child gets
Exactly.
born here and they have citizenship. But back to the point of the LGBT community being, you could say, vilified for this. You know, it's horrible. Like, I'm in shock when I saw it on TV. The thing is, people since this whole, I would say, this whole uprising of gay movement, which has been very powerful lately. You know, the Supreme Court passed a law to allow gay marriage. I mean, the Supreme Court passed it, and yet people are still trying to
Listen to this.
battle it.
Listen
It's
to this.
ridiculous.
So, Missouri passed the same law, right? Or Mississippi. There we go. Mississippi passed the same law for religious freedom, and it says that if you're gay and you're having a wedding, your DJ, your photographer, your florist, your cake makers, your dressmakers, or anybody that helps with your wedding, like your limousine drivers, if they don't like gay marriage, they are allowed to discriminate you and say, no,
Ridiculous.
I do not want to pay, or I don't want to offer my services to you because I don't think that gay people should get married. And they're
Ridiculous,
legally
man.
allowed to discriminate.
Okay,
How can you legally allowed to discriminate somebody
I'm sorry.
like
This
that?
just gets me fired up because how ridiculous it is. Look, those people are all working for a living. That's their job. They're trying to make money, out of it. How can you say, oh, you know what? I don't want to make any money because this person is gay. He doesn't fit the sexual preferences that I agree with. That's ridiculous. It's complete BS. And I watch.
Of course.
They have a lot of heat right now. It's gonna get even worse. It's just these people. They're very narrow-minded. They're not open-minded. They're judgmental, and they're just so how would you say, so belittling and so, what's that word, discriminating against people who have a certain way of life. Like you brought up a point. As long as it doesn't affect you negatively or society negatively, then it's not an issue. The thing is, this whole gay movement is coming back again because people are not really used to it, so they're feeling it like a threat. Just when I was overseas studying abroad, homosexuality, no. Mind you, I was studying religion, and religion is frowned upon homosexuality. A lot of religions, they will kill you if you're a homosexual. So imagine, like, we're blessed to live in America, the free country, and they have to go through this discrimination, Like, you and me, we both have, a lot of gay friends, and they're great people. I want to give a shout out to I can't say his name.
And you know what? They pay taxes.
Yeah,
they pay taxes. They're legal citizens. Mm-hmm. They follow the law. They're law abiding.
Yeah.
Okay, look, we got a question from our viewers. I think religion should have absolutely no influence when it comes to any issue, especially abortion, marriage, gay and non-gay alignment, etc. In the end, it is just a book telling people how to live their life. If
Thank you.
Catholicism says no to gay marriage, that should have no effect whatsoever in the end. Religion is just a set of beliefs. That's the fact in religion, is a factor in politics today. It's just disgusting. Correct. No one should use... I think, you know what? I think the First Amendment, even though I'm a very conservative about the First Amendment. I think that you should have the freedom to practice your religion, right? But your freedom to practice religion shouldn't impede the freedom of others to do what they need to do.
There you go.
You should have your right to practice your freedom of religion. Mm-hmm. Now, if you think that someone getting married is going to impede your freedom, then you know what? Okay. You just tell them. What do you think, Ahmed? Do you think that the government should allow, like, judges? Let's say you're a judge and you're marrying a gay couple, but you have a freedom to say, hey, I don't like gay marriage. That's against my religion.
Well, remember in Kentucky, that lady, I totally forgot her name, but remember she's the one who said, oh, I'm not going to provide this marriage license to this gay couple. Yeah. It's against my disbeliefs. It was ridiculous, and she got backfired and all this issues were happening with her and stuff like that. She's not allowed to do that. She's a government employee. She's not allowed to do it. But like you're saying, like I find it so odd. Like it just really frustrates me because living overseas and having to be something that you don't want to be just to be accepted into society is just awful. And I think that I think that people should be less judgmental. I think they should accept people for who they are, and just take it as is. They need to approach things in a very logical and open manner. We have
something from Cadmere Stone here. He says, everyone should have the right to be free to practice their religion. If their religion is against gay marriage, why do you have to take away their right to live according to your religion?
Can you repeat that last part? Sorry.
Okay. Are you able to watch it on the stream? I don't know if you're able to watch, but it says everybody should have the right to be free to practice their religion. If their religion is against gay marriage, why do you have to take away their right to live according to your religion?
They shouldn't. Why should they take your right away? Let's say, as we know, there's many religions, right? And every religion has a different perspective on homosexuality.
I'm pretty sure the Bible does not say, or the Quran or the Torah or whatever. I'm pretty sure those books do not say ruin other people's lives or tell them not to.
It's worse, brother. It's worse than that. In those books, they say kill homosexuals.
Yeah, and do we kill them? No, we have to abide by the law.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And when you live in this country, I'm sorry, but we are abiding by the law to not kill people. So you don't have freedom of religion. You have a certain limit to what it is. So ultimately, if you can't kill somebody what it says in the book, then why the hell are you going to follow the book and say you're not going to marry gay people? This is how we live in society.
This is the thing. This is what I found out when I studied religion overseas. This is a big thing they do. They pick and choose different things from the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and any books just to do what they want. So they say, I'll take this verse here because it fits my thing that I want to push or whatever I want to talk about. It matches that. So that's what they do. They pick and choose things and they take it out of context majority of the time. They don't want to say the whole story. They want to show the whole thing. But that's how they do it. I realized that a lot when I was overseas in religion. They just do those things, either for political gains, for financial gains, or whatever it may be. It was just awful. It was ridiculous. And I was just in shock when I used to see that by those religious scholars.
Yeah. I think, you know what? It just needs to be settled. Like, I see some questions from our viewers that says that if someone, a judge or a priest, well, I mean, obviously a priest is going to, what do you think? Do you think there's a lot of priests out there against gay marriage or for gay marriage?
Now we're seeing that. Now we're seeing even gay priests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their gay priests are finally being like, check out with Pope Francis. He's starting this movement to change the Catholic Church now views towards homosexuals.
I wonder why it took so long. I mean, it had to be a Latin pope.
Well, he realized he's like, look how much backfire we're getting. Look how much with the whole molestation issues that were occurring in the church, the homosexuality issues, all stuff. Like, look, we need to fix our inner core and what the population wants. The thing is, the population. This is the thing about religion, which I noticed too, is that if they want people to come in, they need to tweak something to allure people in to make them likable. So as we know, homosexuality is a rising thing like we talked about. So if you look at the church perspective, they're against homosexuality. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care. They are against homosexuality in the books.
And I think that if you have a judge that tells you, hey, I cannot wed these two people because they are gay and that's against my religion. All right, fine. You move on.
They can't do that. It's America. You can't do that in America. You can't be a judge and say, it's against my beliefs. I can't do that. That's against the law.
But I'm saying, like, these people are taking it to the extreme. So, like, oh my God, this is like extreme. Like, they're suing and they're doing all this stuff. But you know what? If at the end of the day you're gonna get married, gay marriage is legal here in the United States.
I have no idea why people are so concerned about a man marrying a man. Like, there are so much more pressing topics to talk about than people getting married. Who cares? They love each other. They want to get married. They want to do whatever they want to do. Let them do it, man.
Yeah.
The world outside America, the world is suffering, man. There's a lot of issues out there, I mean, that's what we should be focused on talking about, not just battling with people about, gay marriage, yes or no. It was like back in 200
let me
years
tell you
ago,
something. You can't
they were talking about slavery, yes or no.
You can't get a gay person to marry a straight woman if you deny them gay marriage. That's not going to happen. They're just going to They're just gonna
Stay
stay
single.
together. They're not gonna want to start liking women just because you deny them gay marriage.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're still gonna be there and they're gonna pretend like they're married.
Yeah. And I have a lot of gay friends, and I love these guys. These are some you know some of my closest friends are gay guys, and they
Yeah,
are great people, and I have so much fun with them. And I go out party with them, clubbing with them. We go out do anything.
hiking,
We go
rico.
out together. You know, yeah, you know what I mean. And they're normal people. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just their sexual preference. They're normal people. They just like a certain sex. That's it.
Correct.
So we need to, as society, move on with this because it's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. You need to say, okay, it's done, it's done. Thank God Supreme Court passed the law. Let the homosexuals marry each other, date each other, do whatever they want. That's their choice and that's their right, that's their freedom, brother. Let them do it, and then let's talk about more certain issues. They're people, they're brothers like us, you know, they're friends and family members, you know. They're in our community. You know, it's time to open the doors, finally accept them, let them do what they want, and move on to pressing matters.
Which is great. That was a great speech you just said. Thank you, Mr. Aldenhouse.
Thank-
Is there any more questions from our viewers on this topic? We want to move on and talk about other things. Why get married in the first place? It's just a piece of paper anyway.
Damn. That's deep. That right there is deep, to be honest with you. Think about it, Alec. Why get
Okay,
married?
I have an
Just
easy
a piece
question
of
to
paper.
answer that because let's say you've been investing in your pension for a long time. You have all these benefits. You adopted a kid. You get married. It's a piece of paper. Yeah, it's a piece of paper, but what happens when you die? When is all the beneficiaries who's gonna be the beneficiary of all this? Who's gonna take the estate? It's not gonna matter. You're not married. That's not your spouse. It's gonna be taken by other people. You want to be able to leave your stuff in between people. I was just talking to someone yesterday who was working for, well, let's just keep him. I don't want to say his name, but he's been working for a long time, and he was gay, and he had a pension, a great pension, but he couldn't do anything with it. He had to turn it into an investment plan because the thing was, he was unable to have a beneficiary for his couple or his spouse that he hasn't got married to yet because gay marriage wasn't legal. So if he died, his money would have been just gone. Like, no one takes his money. It disappeared. And it goes back to the state because at the end of the day, you don't have a registered spouse under the state. The state doesn't recognize you or your couple or your partner. You know, it might be a piece of paper at the end of the day, but for other people, it's more than that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, some people take it. Some people take their vows seriously. Some people live to get married
Yeah.
and have it official and stuff like that. And some people, the thing is, nowadays what we're seeing is maybe our viewers may agree, may disagree, but nowadays what we're seeing is people are just shacking up. They're dating, they move in, and that's it. They think, oh, why should we get married? We're already living together for a couple months, for a couple years already. What's the point? Some people are just like that. Some people like the whole traditional way of just getting married and getting their, going to church and getting all fancy and certifying all that good stuff, taking it to court and all that good stuff. It depends on the person and their views and what they want to do. But I think the thing is now in society, we've seen that trend of people just, like we said, moving in together, just dating, long-term dating. And I guess they get so comfortable with each other, like, oh, whatever. What's the point of getting married? We're together. We've done things together. So I
I'm
would see
here,
those both
Casimir
pictures.
Stone. Doesn't the money of the pension go to the probate? Next of kin gets the money. Let's say all your family dies. You don't have any money, but you have someone that's been taking care of you for years. Your partner, your gay partner that you haven't been able to be able to marry because the state does not allow you to marry as a gay person. But you love him so much, or a woman who loves her partner who's another woman, she loves him so much. That money, all that money you worked so hard to in that pension, and you wish it could have went to them, doesn't, because under the laws of certain states, you have to be a dependent under the marriage, or they have to be your spouse in order to be entitled to that money. Now, I'm happy that we were able to come with this agreement with gay marriage last year. The Supreme Court was able to pass it. But a lot of these states, I've noticed a lot of these states in the South are very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conservative states here, and Florida being one of them. And what do you think, Ahmed? Do you think that with a Republican president, do you think gay marriage will be revoked?
I think it would be very. I think they will try to revoke it. I think they'll
Now,
try a lot of
I'm
things in their
sort of a
power to.
Republican. I mean, but in my opinion, I'm a very progressive Republican when it comes to this.
I
I
think that
think
they'll try. Really,
I
to be
don't think
honest
we
with you.
should be I don't think we should be conservative. But we need to move on. I mean, the party needs to move on. The Republican Party needs to move on. Needs to become more liberal. Okay, and Obama has done a lot, but Obama isn't the solution. Obama has done so many things. He took out a lot of taxes out of us, and the
I think he did
Affordable
a
Care
great
Act needs to be a
job.
little bit. He might have done a great job. I think the thing
He's
is
done a phenomenal job.
he
Let's not.
he
Let's not.
started
Let's
a
not
job that needs to be
like,
finished. That's what I
you know,
think, in my opinion.
he started in a situation. Let's make the facts straight. He started after George Bush, who took us into a recession, who dug us a hole in Iraq and Afghanistan. We had a war going on. We had financial issues. We had health care problems. There was such a lot of issues going on in the state. Let's be honest with that. He came in and he had to dig us out of that hole. And it
All
doesn't
right,
take
but you got to
one
remember
day.
too that
But
George Bush
but
isn't the person that runs the government; it's Congress.
well, George Bush and the Republican Congress at that
But it
time
was a
made all these
Democratic
decisions.
Congress when the when
But
the
Democratic,
when
but
the
he
housing
still
bubble
had
happened.
executive power. And the thing is, let's just keep the facts straight. It was a lot of issues because of George Bush in the war. And what happened? So let's give it. Obama, he found Osama bin Laden, he killed Osama bin Laden. Number one. Number two, he took us out of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Little by little by little, we've been removed. Okay. Number three, he passed Obamacare, provide health care for all these people.
All right,
Wait,
but
let me,
what about ISIS?
let,
What about
let me,
ISIS? ISIS
let me,
still
but
exists.
you see,
ISIS
you
has
won't let
not been
me finish.
eliminated.
You won't
ISIS
let
is
me
coming
finish.
out because we
See, this is the
haven't.
thing. You won't let me finish the good things about President Obama. You just want to cut me off because you want people to
Yeah,
know
but
the
I
truth.
want to stop you in that one point you said that
Why?
we left Iraq and we left Afghanistan, and look at it now we have the ISIS problem.
It all started from George Bush going and kill Saddam Hussein. By killing one dictator,
Yeah,
disrupted the whole balance of control of both Sunni and Shia and radicalized Islam. So by doing that, you cause all this turmoil. We want us to stay there forever. Let the Arabs fight their own war. Let them kill
yeah,
each
but
other.
then we got lone wolves
So
coming
far
to the United
interesting.
States and they're gonna bomb the shit out of us. We don't want
That
that.
hasn't happened yet. That has not happened.
So
Okay.
what are we gonna do? We're gonna let it. We're gonna wait till it happens.
No, what I think they should do is they put more pressure on the Arab countries to make them fix this and go in and clean up things. That's what the thing is. The world, America is not responsible for everybody. Hello, for our own country, we have our own responsibility. We have our own people to deal with. We shouldn't be policing everybody and telling what to do. No, the Arab countries, the countries that are around that area, need to fix the situation, clean it up, focus on ISIS, get them out, and that's it. Like we talked about in our first show, or second show. It's ridiculous. America is not the one who's always supposed to clean up everybody's mess.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and like we said, Obama, he's done a lot. Going to my third point where he had cut me off, but he had provided health care, universal health care through Obamacare, which is a good thing. So that you and myself, we have health care now, or for which we could purchase different plans and stuff like that, and for other individuals in America. And different things, providing jobs. It went from 10% without jobs in the U.S. to now down to 5%, cut in half, which is good. So he's been a great president. Of course, has he had his flaws? Yes. Who doesn't? Not everybody's perfect. I agree with that. But I just hope the next president picks up and continues where he left off to moving us in a better direction forward. And mind you, we're not in a recession anymore. Thank you. So, yeah.
So guys, we're gonna probably end our web stream in about a couple minutes. I want to say thank you all our fans for tuning in. We're gonna leave this few more minutes left for any questions or anything else people want to say.
Ask away,
Ahmed,
guys.
do you have anything you want to say about the stream, or anything going on with the topic we said tonight?
No, I just want to say thank you, for bringing up these topics. It's a great way to share both my opinion and your opinion and discuss our views and share our views because, this is what's supposed to be, to share different views and different sides of things. And I hope our viewers can appreciate that. And like I said, send us your questions. We're here to answer them and to, connect with you all and just to, help you all better understand and ourselves as well.
And like I said, next week we're gonna try to have a woman as a special guest. We were looking into somebody, so we're pretty much we're set on somebody. But if you want to go on after next week, let us know. We want to be able to have as many opinions when it comes to average Americans talking about current events and politics. But as far as it goes, Planned Parenthood, I think, in my opinion, and I think Ahmed's opinion, I can speak for him as well, it should be a woman's right to decide what she wants to do with her body and how she wants to live her life.
Mm-hmm.
So, just
Remember,
that
guys.
said, and religious freedom, I don't like it. But we as citizens of the state or other states need to fight and get back control of what we think should be run in our government. Our government right now is run by lobbyists. Yeah. And it's, in our opinion, we need to stop paying. I think, in my opinion, lobbying is legal corruption. We need to stop
Unfortunately,
that. Yeah. It's legal corruption, and if we don't stop it, it's just going to keep corrupting our country. I'm pretty sure George Washington and Benjamin Franklin didn't have no lobbyists back in their day. Okay? When they made the Constitution, they didn't have no lobbyists. So why should we have them today? If they thought of a country without lobbyists, we should have a country today without lobbyists, in my opinion.
And just to my viewers, any questions you have health related about science, medicine, medical technologies, or issues that you might have privately or whatever, you can always, email me your question. I mean, not email me, excuse me, but post your questions here on our web stream. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And just, recap, Planned Parenthood is a great program in the United States, and if you haven't done so, check out their website online. It has a lot of useful information. Things that if you have questions about, you could check it on there. They have free clinics around the U.S. You just got to look them up. If that doesn't help, you can always talk to your primary care physician. And always remember, guys, practice safe sex, meaning using condoms or female condoms as well. Make sure that if you want to prevent pregnancy or avoid pregnancy, take birth control. But of course, meet with your primary care physician to find the right birth control for you to take, because each birth control has different side effects, and depending on the type of person you are in body, you want to check with a doctor. Here's something from our
viewers. Hillary equals 100% lobbyist. I think because she gets paid money to talk or something like that, right? Yes. I think Hillary Clinton got paid $100,000 to speak at a college in regards to, some political campaign or something like that. But anyways, she takes a lot of money, and Donald Trump and I think Bernie Sanders are the only two politicians that don't really take any lobbyist money. But then again, do we really want them to run our country?
No, that's your opinion. Everybody has their opinion.
Everybody has their opinion. I'm gonna let them decide. Vote for who you should vote for. This is not a call to action to vote for anybody, but in my opinion, this and what our viewer just said in the chat. Hashtag this election sucks 2016. It does. I'm sorry, there's no better candidates out there.
No, of course,
it's the worst election ever. Even though I am, we're what 20. I'm 23. Ahmed's 27, right? So we're young, but I mean, still, this is, in our opinion, we have to know what's going on with our world. We have to have individuals that do not want any lobbyist money or any, political action or super PACs happening in our country. We need to be able to succeed in that. We don't need that. We need to be able to speak for the people and represent the people without any money. We don't need to take money. Money is the greed. Is the source of all. Is the root of all evil. That's what I heard.
Unfortunately, and hopefully, these elections are making a turn for the better. So we'll see what happens. But before, if I could just make my final comments before.
We're gonna. You know what? I'm gonna add another section to this. We're not gonna end early, guys. I'm gonna talk about something. Like maybe some celebrities. What do you want to talk about? Some celebrities?
Well, I have to. It's kind of it'll be nice to cut it soon.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about some little bit of celebrities here and there, and then we're gonna end it.
All right, but just before, if I'm able to finish what I was trying to say earlier, just some final words, that'd be great. So I was saying, going back to the health topics, birth control is good for you. Just make sure you talk to your primary care physician about finding the right ones for you to take, because everyone has their own side effects. Make sure you use condoms, practice safe sex. Make sure you guys are aware of what STDs are and how you acquire STDs and HIV. You want to avoid those things between you and your couple or your future spouse. And then going back to religious freedoms, like we talked about, in my view, and I think, we could speak for both of us, everybody should have the right to do what they want to do and believe in what they want to believe and practice what they want to practice without being judged, without being discriminated against. And if the gay community want to get married, if they want to date, they want to, then they should have the right. And I feel like that's how it should be.
Again, if you guys have any questions, please ask Dr. Al Nahas, future Dr. Al Nahas.
Preach, amen.
Because he will be there. I'm telling you right now. If you guys need a doctor in the next 4 years?
Well, now I have 2 more years of medical school. So yeah.
Well, when you become finally a doctor, private practice.
Well, in 2 years I graduate medical school, then I get my MD, and then I do residency.
All right, so maybe within 4 years,
Yeah.
You guys can hit him up in his own private practice, and you can ask him all these questions. He could be your doctor. I promise you, he will be the best doctor there is.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the
Yeah.
love.
So
Appreciate
let's
it.
talk about some little bit of celebrities here. LeBron James.
Come back to Miami, baby.
No, no, no.
Can't wait.
He sent a DM to
23,
a
yeah.
model.
What's wrong with that?
He said, "Hey, what's up?" And
And
everyone's freaking out, saying he's cheating on his wife.
please, come on, please. All those
Are you
NBA
serious?
players,
Like,
all
is
the
this?
football players, they all cheat on their wives. Give me a break, man.
And the model did that so she could get double her followers in one night.
Now, why would you blame her? It's all about publicity. It's all about, look.
Look, we
Who cares if
don't
they're
care about
married?
this show about this being publicity. We just want people and our voices to be heard. Okay?
Look, check it out. Look, they have so much money. Come on. If you look at, there's a show called NBA Housewives, or something like that, a while back, with Shaq and his wife and all the players. They all cheated with each other. They all hooked up with random girls, groupies and stuff like that. Please, if you tell me it's not happening, please. I remember when LeBron James was back in Miami, there was rumors. I talked to a source of mine who worked at the Miami
you
Heat
got
store.
sources, huh?
Who worked at the Miami Heat store, telling me about, different,
Oh, I know what source that
things.
is.
Yeah, so different things. And
Shout out to the source.
yeah, so all these people know what they're doing. It's nothing new. We all know that, NFL, NBA, MLB, all these players have so much money, they could do whatever they want.
Of course.
And again, that's their life, and we shouldn't judge them, but of course society judges them. But you know what? That's their life. Of course that happens.
Hey, just like you let the gay people live their life, let them live their life.
Yeah. So just because he DMs a woman, who cares? Worry about your life, brother, sister.
Exactly.
See what happens with that.
All right, guys. I want to say thank you to the whole audience for joining us on this stream. I want to say thank you to my colleague, future doctor. I keep saying doctor. He's not a doctor yet, but
they call me Dr. Al-Nazare, so it's all good.
Future Dr. Al-Nahas, thank you for joining us on the stream, like always, every week. Next week, we'll try to get us a special guest. Do you want to say anything, Ahmed, before we end
I
the
just want to say thank you to my colleague Alec. It's been, we're doing these great shows every week.
Oh, we talked about the Panama Papers. I'm sorry, Ernie.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, actually.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you to you and thank you to the viewers, of course. I'm glad you guys always tune in and keep on sharing the love and the questions. And we're here to, just talk about life. And, like we said, we're here to be political incorrectness, and we just want to have one family, one connection, one dialogue. Just like I said, to educate us and yourselves. Remember, because knowledge is power and power is knowledge, and that's going to advance you through life. So with that, I'm going to end with that note. I just want to say thank you to Alec and everybody.
Guys, if you still want to see our videos from last week, they're right on the page. So just go ahead when the stream is done. Just go back and go on the page and the channel and just watch all the streams from the past. If you have any questions, we did talk about the Panama Papers last week. It was a great issue. We're still waiting to hear more about the papers as they're getting released, because as of right now, there's a lot of journalists around the world trying to decode these papers and see exactly what's going on with all these world leaders. But we're going to give that some time until we go more into detail about it. But we did go briefly over the Panama Papers last week, if you want to catch that on the last week's broadcast. Until next week, guys, I want to say thank you again for watching the stream. And we will have a special guest next week, a woman's side of the view. And thank you for watching. Have a great night.